So now we've got more of a distressed background. Now some of these grays will obviously relate to transparency, but the fact is we've made some of the lines thicker. If you want more contrast in here, then all I would simply do is hit Control L or Command L on the Mac to bring up the Levels palette, and then you could quite easily just grab the light slider here and drag it to increase the contrast that you are seeing through each of the lines that you've now got. So you have all of this wonderful control. You can increase or decrease the grayscale levels. Okay, you can do so much in here simply by applying a bit of level control. All right, so it's up to you what you're aiming for, but by all means choose a specific setting and say OK. Now that looks pretty good. Got a lovely distressed effect there. What we want to do now is turn this into a selection that we can use to mask out our object. Now at this point, the pixels that we can see are obviously white on a black background. Now that's normally going to mean that the area that you see white now is all that will be left of the text in the RGB channel when we've applied the layer mask. Well, we could invert it here if we wanted to, make changes. Don't worry about that. We could also do that in RGB. So what we're going to do is come back to the main RGB channel so we can see our hand over fist title here. If we hold down the Control key or the Command key and click on Alpha 1, we obviously make a selection of it. Let's come back to our Layers palette, just make sure that Layer 1 is still selected. Go ahead and click New Layer Mask, and that will now mask out the entire layer, again, based on the white pixels. Now, if that's not what we were looking for, obviously it isn't, all we need to do is just click once on the Layer Mask icon to check that's the one that we're currently working on, and then simply press Control-I or Command-I on the Mac to invert the pixels and allow us to see more of the text and only have the distressed amount applied to a smaller area. So this gives us a little bit more control. So don't worry about inversing the channels and things like that. That can easily be done inside the layer mask.